Good morning, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. I see we've got a frog in the chat. How are we sounding in the video here, Frog? Are we echoing at all? Oh, we got Genuine Comics here in the chat. How we doing, Genuine? And yes, it is an interesting book. This is a book that I'm pretty excited to talk about. I apologize that we're running a little bit late. I got held over at work last night, so I got off at 4 a.m. I worked a 12-hour shift, so I am literally just getting up here within the past half hour. And yeah, so because I didn't want to miss doing this stream. So we've got sound is good. My name is I guess we should start off with some introductions here. My name is Michael Oden. I am the creator and writer of projects like Elysian Fields and The Embrace. I'm the founder of Nine Realms Publishing. But what a lot of people don't realize is that for a long time prior to me getting into writing comics myself, I was a freelance industry journalist. And my specialty was none other than doing reviews, specifically of comics, comic book films, and comic book related media. So that brings me to why we're here today. I've seen a lot of people doing reviews of comics and everything digitally, and it's important to build your platform. And I figured, what better way to do that than to talk about comics live and review comics live and put my input in on a book as we're talking about. So here we have We Are Scarlet Twilight. And this book is very unique. I'm going to pull up the Kickstarter here at the end of for the end of the video. I would have had this done beforehand, but as I said, I'm running a little bit behind schedule, so please forgive me. I've got the link up for when I'm ready to share screen that. Okay, so We Are Scarlet Twilight. What is this book? It's labeled as a thrilling cyber pulp adventure, and yes, it is. It doesn't really get to the cyber part till towards the end of the issue, but that's neither here nor there. The important thing is that this book is a love letter, like full stop. I don't think there's any better word for it. It is a love letter to a genre that has become very niche in the community, but that by the people who appreciate it, love it with every fiber of their being. And you feel that love throughout this book. This book is a very strong representation of pulp fiction. Like it evokes all of that atmosphere, and the dialogue feels very pulpy, and there are even a few moments that make you kind of feel like you're being transported back to when these pulps would come out, where they have like it's become very common for fourth wall breaks in comic book media with characters like Deadpool and everything, and it's gotten to a point where it's obnoxious. But like back in the old pulp stuff, you would occasionally get like a character would break the fourth wall to give an important PSA, especially during like World War II, where it'd be like, oh, loose lips sink ships kind of deal. And we actually get one of those in there, and I'll get to that here in a minute, because it's like, it is quite possibly one of my favorite panels in the book. But so without further ado, this is We Are Scarlet Twilight. It's by, let's take a look at this credit page. Hold on. Move my coffee over, yeah. So the entire the entire issue is done by Benjamin Morse. First off, Ben, great job. Ben showcases that again, like he knows what he's doing with this book. The art in it is fantastic. His line work is super crisp. I mean, you can even see that just from like this first page. Captain Lancet is our protagonist. And he has this perfect pulp era design. And he's just great. Like everything about how Ben lays this out from like a narrative standpoint, all the pages flow together. They really fit his narrative well. The writing is really strong. Art's really good, as I've already said. And we'll take a look through some more of this. But the fact of the matter is that this book was done by one singular person, and that is something to praise. So let's take a look and flop through some pages here because I want to showcase some stuff. So here's just some of the art that we get here. And I mean, just look at that, him coming out of the glass and everything. I don't want to show off too much because I don't want to do spoilers. Now what I will say is that I don't know how you guys can get a hold of the book right now. It was funded via Kickstarter. And so as you guys well know, Kickstarter doesn't do in demand. I do know that the imprint that he's doing this. I'm not sure if it's his imprint or if this is just or what, but like this is Kablam Comics. So I mean that might even be just the people that they use to print the book. I'm not sure. But anyways, this is We Are Scarlet Twilight. Genuine Comics says what's a lancet? And to be frank, I'm not exactly sure. Okay, so Kablam is a printer. Okay, that's good to know. And apparently they specialize in Kickstarter and Patreon. They have big discounts for those specific things. So I might have to use them on my Patreon stuff because I do have some stuff that I'm doing through my Patreon and everything that I'll be needing a printer for, and it would be nice to get some money off. So I'm definitely down with that. But yeah, so you get this really cool pulp thing going, and here's the panel that I actually wanted to show you guys. So as I said, like there's this whole thing where fourth wall breaking has become this kind of trope to do for a lot of people. But back in like the pulp years, you would have like a character occasionally would break a fourth wall to like deliver some sort of PSA and what have you. And so like effectively, without going too far into the context behind this so that you guys read it in the book when you guys get a hold of it, he makes a mistake. He thinks one person is the bad guy and it turns out to be somebody else. And so what ends up happening is he has this whole thing is like, I couldn't have been more wrong. She was the one in danger and all along. And of course, like the villain of this has like the most blatant villain name on the face of the planet. Like and all along, Madame Satanica was really. But and then he cuts himself off, and you get this panel right here where the background is now a waving American flag, and it's a close up on his face as he's looking out. It's like, but first, This just goes to show you prejudice can strike any of us, even an immigrant to these fair shores like myself. Remember to guard against that kind of thinking. It's the American way. And so it's got all the elements of pulp in there. And it really knows what it is. It embraces it. It completely does its own thing with it too. There's a big reveal with Captain Lancet about halfway through the issue that I don't want to put out there because it is a big plot point where like his whole appearance and everything is kind of a red herring for what he actually does. And all of it still falls in line with a very pulp genre, and it kind of feels like it kind of takes this Flash Gordon-esque type character, this and combines them with the likes of the Shadow. And it's a really, really great book. Now, the other thing, the big thing that I'm going to talk about, when you see you see these other indie comic reviewers like the Inch High Comic Guy and stuff like that, they talk about things like packaging and everything like that. I'm a story guy, like I'm a writer, and so there's honestly not much that I can talk about with this first issue. It's a floppy. It's like it's 20 some odd pages, maybe 32. I haven't done like an exact page count. I'm sure it says on the campaign. 24 pages. And it's a 4-issue comic inspired by Golden Age comic pulp and cyberpunk aesthetics. So like it provides all of that stuff here, and even just this first issue, and it sets a very good tone, right? Like just a great book. But the big thing that I want to talk about, because we're in the business of campaigns, we're in the business of crowdfunding, and one of the big things that I don't think a lot of creators that are getting into this take into account is price points. What the inherent worth or inherent value of your comic should be. Does what you pay for justify what you does what you get justify what you pay for? And I'm going to be frank, there's been a lot of campaigns that I've backed here over the past year and a half since I've gotten into comics where the price point I paid did not match the product I received. And that's not to say that the product was low in quality or anything, but for the amount of content I received, I felt like the price point assigned to it. Genuine Comics asked, does it end with a cliffhanger or is it self-contained? It does end with a cliffhanger. It is the first part of a 4-issue miniseries. So it starts off and everything, and it goes through its arc, and then Genuine follows up. The inherent value of my comics is a gazillion bucks, and that's actually I'd stand by that. I've read Dave's books. Dave, it's really funny because when I was getting into this industry, I was offering to do reviews on Up Your Geek, which is the site that I work for. I still do occasional freelance pieces for it. I just don't do as much anymore. But I got to review Dave's Perfect 10 issue 1 ahead of other people because I told him I would if he wanted me to, and it blew me away. And I compared it to like Western Comics meets Ghost in the Shell, because like 10 very much reminded me in both her design and even how she like comes to and everything. It had a lot of that Ghost in the Shell aesthetic that I really liked. Frog G says he'd give Dave's books a perfect 10. And I would agree with that. Perfect 10 issue 2 is a masterpiece. I will be reviewing that book on here as well. I'll be doing that here in a few weeks. But to bring this back to We Are Scarlet Twilight, we in this industry, we see a lot of people where like their base price points are like $20-$25 per book. And then you get those books, and it doesn't matter how good they are. The page count does not quantify the money that you spend. And I understand that for a lot of us, we're doing lower print runs, especially if we're writers and we're just writing and producing. There has to be a way for us to turn a profit. There has to, like, we're gonna have to charge more than the mainline industry, because we put more into it from a fiscal standpoint, right? Like we have to fund things, but at the end of the day, that doesn't excuse bloating a price point for the sake of profits when you aren't going to deliver something that deserves that inherent price point. Genuine Comics says $25 for at least 48 pages. That is the general rule of thumb. If you have a 48-page book, you can warrant a $25 price point, and I'd agree with that. So let's take a look at We Are Scarlet Twilight's price point. Yeah, the panel on the left at the rooftops does look great, Dave. This Benjamin Morse really does a fantastic job with this book. I very much enjoyed myself. I was excited for this book when I was getting it. Here, let me put this back on the screen because it's more important than my forearm. But the while I was excited for this book, I got what I paid for, and this is what we're going to take a look at. So I'm going to share screen. We Are Scarlet Twilight campaign. All right, so here's the Kickstarter campaign. Let me make sure that we're fully up there. Okay, so here's the Kickstarter campaign. We Are Scarlet issue number 1. I backed this project. I'm going to mark that as received. You don't need to see that. Cool. Those are his updates. Let's take a look at this campaign. All right. So this is the pledge that I backed at $5 or more. A physical copy with the standard cover. Right? And this I think was the variant that he did, his variant B, which is a really cool variant. Actually, I do like this a lot. I preferred the main cover myself. But you got to get a good look at his art and everything in there. I missed that. There's apparently a Captain Lancet apron, which is really fun. Like, nice little tchotchke. But like, you look at the pricing here. He's got an international tier. So I'm assuming that he's got different shipping rates for these covers and what have you. But you know, the highest tier is a retailer tier for 15 copies, $48 or more. Now, granted, Ben has the added bonus of being the creator, and he wrote the book, he drew it, he did the colors, so it's like it's all on him, you know. So there's a cost point there's a cost point that he doesn't really have to take into account that a lot of us writers do. But at the end of the day, like, he still needs to be making a profit, because if he doesn't make a profit, the time that he spent putting into this project, between writing the script, between drawing it out, lettering it, everything like that, that's all wasted time. Like that's there's an investment of time that has to match it, the price point and everything. So like that's not to say that, he's making a gazillion bucks off of this, because we have to take in consideration that he probably spent like at least like 4 months doing these pages at like bare minimum and working on them nonstop. And that time has to be reciprocated fiscally. So this comes into, what do you charge for your price points? And this basic book I got for $5. $5 for this book. And yeah, Genuine Comics is, wow, only $5. $5 for this quality of book. I am more than happy. This is, in my opinion, this is on par artistically with the better things in the mainstream media. And from a writing standpoint, it's one of the best indie books that I've read. It's really well done. One of the big problems that I know Inch High Comic Guy belabors on, and it's made him a very unpopular person because he is frankly a lot more blunt about it than I'm going to be. And don't get me wrong, Dave knows that I am certainly not shy about voicing negative opinions about something that I don't like. Because Dave's seen what happens when I give a book a negative review. But the that doesn't like one of the big things that the indie scene has a problem with is the writing, is the storytelling, and that a lot of these guys aren't bringing in editors or aren't bringing in people to test their scripts on to make sure it's like, hey, does this flow well? Are these characters intriguing? This, that, the other. There have been a lot of books that I've been really excited for that have the potential to be like next level products, next level IPs. And the thing that holds them back is there's all this attention put in the artistic side, all this attention put in design and everything like that. And the books look great, but they're poorly paced. Their characters are bland, and you just don't get much out of the book. There's no excitement to get to the next one. And this is one of those things where comics is a visual medium, but you're still telling a story. And so your story needs to be compelling. Your story needs to make people to want to continue reading. We Are Scarlet Twilight does that in spades. Don't get me wrong, every book has its flaws. I think that We Are Scarlet Twilight's biggest flaw is its reveal of the true nature of the main character was a bit jarring at first, but by the end of the book, you kind of acclimate to it, and it's really good. But overall, I get to the end of this comic and I want the next one. There are a lot of books that I have gotten where that's not really the case. And I'll be taking a look at those. This channel is not going to be a puff piece place where you can just send your comics and I'll gush about them all the time. It doesn't matter how much of a piece of shit they are. I'm going to say nothing but nice things. That's not my style. I give objective criticisms. I'm going to be fair about it and everything like that. And We Are Scarlet Twilight deserves the praise I'm giving it, in my opinion. I would give this book an 8.5 out of 10. It's got great art. It's got great storytelling. The price point is fantastic. It's probably one of the best price points that I've gotten recently. And again, that falls on to the fact that he isn't having to contract a lot of outside work, but he still has to pay himself for his time. Like, that's something that he should be able to do. And so for being able to charge $5 per book, and he raised $12,598 of a $1,500 goal. That's fantastic, and that's a great job, and good on him. That's impressive, and I think every single person here to it's one thing to make X amount of money when your price points are as high as they are, but like his highest tier, to put this in perspective, his highest tier was $48, and he made over 12 grand and had over 1,000 backers. That's incredible. And it's well deserved. It's a brilliant looking book. And it's something that I feel that more of us should strive to look at and see how we can bring our price points down in a way that doesn't hurt us, while simultaneously making books more accessible to the consumer. So yeah, I'd stand by the fact that I would put this at a 8.5 out of 10. Really solid read. Really excited for the next book. It is on Kickstarter, so there is no longer a way for you to directly back it, but I'm sure if you get in touch with Benjamin Morse, who's the creator of the book and everything, I'm sure there's a way to do that through their Kickstarter, and get in contact him and ask if you can PayPal him or what have you. I'm sure that he probably has some extras lying around. Or you can just wait till the next campaign. I don't know when he is doing that, but We Are Scarlet Twilight gets some fantastic feedback from me, at least. I highly recommend checking it out. So we're at around 30 minutes. I don't expect these reviews to take too long. It's effectively, did you like it? Yes. Did you not? No. And talking about the book's strengths and everything. There's not a lot to talk about here. It's just a really solid book, really fun. I highly recommend it. But what I do want to do is have an extra 30 minutes, as I'm going to try to keep most of my streams to about an hour. We're going to get rid of the art thing. Okay. You can go away. All right. So, a few things to talk about. We are closing out the Embrace Friday. We're taking it off in demand. We'll be doing this. We'll be having a closeout stream on Michael Bancroft's here this Friday, so we hope to see you guys there. But if you haven't already backed the Embrace, then what are you doing? We're going to bring up the campaign really quick to take a look at it. And I'm even going to do a little bit of a reveal for everybody. Let's see, share screen, Chrome tab, the Embrace. All right. So if you haven't heard the pitch already, Frog G says sadly won't be able to catch the closeout stream working that night. It's okay, Frog. Just share that link out like you'd always do. You're the best. And then we got Genuine Comics saying back the Embrace, y'all. Yeah, we're 1,400 away. We're 1,400 away from hitting 15,000. So a while back, Dave, which is Genuine Comics there, Perfect 10 issue 2, which we had launched with, crossed over 16K US. And so my goal is to kind of catch up to that. But we'll see how we do. It's going to be a heavy push week, and I'm hoping that the things that we're going to reveal here today will help with that. So here's the Embrace. We've got, the Embrace is a story about fatherhood, lost fatherhood, and justice as a father gets saved by the ghost of his son. No father should have to bury their child, but life sometimes doesn't play out the way it should. It's been a year since the mugging that robbed Clarence Griffin of both his dignity and his son David. With the police closing the case, Clarence revisits the last place he was with his son with every intent on taking his own life. However, as he arrived, he is stopped by the ghost of David, and in the embrace of his child's spirit, he receives not only a vision revealing the people responsible, but a suit that protects him from harm and grants him abilities. Now, father and son hunt down the criminals responsible for this tragedy and bring them to justice. So we've got some great interior pages up here. And we have this beautiful Jim O'Reilly Sigmentore cover. Just a lot of really great stuff on this campaign. But I guess the big thing to say is the line art for this book is pretty much done. Dean has already penciled the last pages. The penciling is completely done, and he has 2 pages left to ink. Paul has 10 pages left to color. The book's done pretty much. It'll be done by, I expect it'll be done by the weekend for the art, and then this week lettering and revisions will happen, and I'll gather the print file together. Now this means we likely won't hit the August fulfillment deadline, or if it will be, it'll be like the last day of August when we start to get books out to people. But we are still going strong. People will have their books very soon. And so thank everyone for the support. And to say thank you, I figure what better way to do this than to give you guys a new look at the Embrace that you guys haven't seen before. And we kind of have the perfect panel for it. So without further ado, we're going to stop that screen. We're going to share a new one. All right, guys. Well, for those of you who have made it to this stream, thank you very much. We're going to thank you guys by giving you a look at this new page from the Embrace. So let's do that. Got Genuine Comics drum rolling. And so here we go. Dean James had posted his line work of this panel, I want to say a week or so ago. Paul gave us the colors of this here 2-3 days ago, and it just looks absolutely fantastic. Let's blow that up a bit. Look at that. I'm not sure if you guys can tell, but Dean really likes drawing Spider-Man. Absolutely just fantastic work from Dean James and Paul Billick. They have really brought this book together in a way that I don't even know. Like, this is it's been such a treat getting to see their progress throughout all of this. And yeah. So that being said, a few more announcements. We have our Patreon going. Frog G says Spider Dean draws whatever a Spider Dean can. Yeah, sounds about right. So we have our Patreon, and our Patreon membership is all about giving you premier access to behind the scene looks at Nine Realms projects, and more importantly, giving you guys early access to our webtoon series, Errand of the Sable Knight. which starts putting up chapters next Friday at 4 p.m. on Webtoon. So if you haven't subscribed to Errand of the Sable Knight, be sure that you do that on Webtoon real quick. But the whole point of the Patreon, which we'll bring up, gotta make sure that I'm looking at this from the public side of things and not my side of things. So the whole point of our Patreon is to keep revenue coming in to Nine Realms, so that we can consistently produce content. So this is our Nine Realms Patreon page, and this is these are our tiers that we are these are some of our tiers that we are offering. So at $1 a month, which is just $1, you get early access to all of our Webtoon chapters and any exclusive sneak peeks to upcoming Nine Realms projects. And we have a lot of really cool stuff to show you on there. And that's like the basic tier. Like that's the minimum that you can do, and this is the minimum that we can do for you, is or the maximum we can do for the dollar that you give us, because every dollar counts. But you get access to the Webtoon chapters early. I believe if you are a part of the Patreon, you should already have access to the first page of Errand of the Sable Knight. It should be up there, fully lettered, everything like that. And the second page will be up there here this Tuesday, not Tuesday, this Thursday. Then we, at our $5 a month tier, we have the Errand Floppy tier. And so how this works is the Errand of the Sable Knight is broken down into 8 chapters. Each chapter will be a season of Webtoon content. And at the end of each season, I'm going to make a floppy of that chapter. Now, we will hold a crowdfunding campaign where these floppies will be available. However, the Patreon backers of any tier $5 a month or more will get a special floppy with for specifically Patreon backers. They will have like behind the scenes looks at things, and maybe even like a special variant. I'm undecided as to that yet. But the whole point is that you will get you'll get a floppy every single time that we complete a season of content. Oh, Skip Edwards is in the chat. Hey, Skip. He says, hi, Dean's friend. Hi, Skip. Hopefully you can, be my friend too someday. We all have aspirations. $15 a month gets you everything that we talked about before, with the Webtoon chapters being early, the Errand of the Sable Knight floppies. But it also gets you the entire digital catalog of Nine Realms and a sketch card every month. Skip says, maybe, who should I shun? Who's out? I don't have anyone to shun, really. I'm a pretty easygoing guy. I don't know of anyone that wants to shun me. I'm sure that there are. But anyways, as I said, you get a sketch card every month that you back this tier. So we already have one person at this $15 a month tier. And I did his first sketch card last week, but since he backed at the end of July and then he got charged again in August, I'm doing his second sketch card here tomorrow night. After I get off work, I'll be doing his sketch card live. And if somebody else ends up backing that tier and supporting us at that $15 a month tier before we do that, I'll do their sketch card as well. And effectively every month you make a request of what kind of sketch card you'd like, and I draw it. Frog says hi, Skip. Lots of love in their chat between everybody. And then we have these higher end tiers. So the Nine Realms catalog is a special tier at $20 a month. So $20 a month gets you our entire catalog of books with Patreon exclusive covers. So Elysian Fields is going to have some Patreon exclusive covers. The Embrace will have a Patreon exclusive cover. Errand of the Sable Knight will have a Patreon exclusive edition of the book. Obviously, like that's going to be a part of that regardless. And any other projects that we do, like I only have those 3 listed because they're the only ones that are in active current development. But like I'm building IPs nonstop. I have at least 3 more in the works right now, various different types. So yeah, like that's what you get. And then the producer credit is at $50 a month. You get thrown into the credits as a producer of the book. You get to put that on your resume that you produce comics. And you get everything else from before. And you know, that's pretty awesome. And then the original art collector at $100 a month. Every year you get to pick a piece of original art from Nine Realms Comics. So, and those ones won't be drawn by me. Like I'm okay, but I'm not worth $100 a month. I'm talking about like I'm going to be having Dean set aside pages for the Patreon. I'm going to have the other artists that I'm working on that I won't name just yet because we're still figuring stuff out and getting things ironed out. I'm going to have them have original pieces that we can put up on the campaign and everything like that, that we can put up on the Patreon, so that again, $100 a month, that's what that gets you, because at the end of the day, that's $1,200 a year, which is a very big commitment. So I think that entitles you to something pretty nice, and so that's what we're doing. So this is what you get when you back our Patreon. These are the options that we have available. We're coming down to the hour, and so I just want to say thank you to everyone that came out and checked us out. Remember, make sure that you check out We Are Scarlet Twilight, because that is what that's what we're here for. The Kickstarter campaign has closed, but I'm sure that Benjamin Morris has a way for you to get a hold of the book. I'm sure he probably has overstock, and we would be happy to work something out with you. Or, worst comes to worst, you just wait till they do the second campaign, which I'm sure is coming pretty shortly. The first campaign was a massive success, and he's getting a lot of positive feedback, and it's well deserved. It was a really good book. It was a great price point. I was very happy with it. It arrived on time, which is nice. I know that that's like the bane of the indie industry, is how long are we going to have to wait for the book to come out? But yeah, no, like it was really great getting a chance to talk with you guys, show this book out, and as I said, make sure you back the Embrace. We're closing out In Demand on that here this Friday. I hope you guys enjoyed the reveal of Dean's new page, which I will be posting up on Twitter here shortly after this. So just if you want, you can take a look at that, and hopefully we'll get some more people coming in, because I would like to hit at least 15K before we close. If we can get over 16, that'd be awesome. But as I said, that's all a matter of how hard we push, right? So thanks so much for coming out, guys. Back the Embrace, support us on Patreon if you so desire. And remember, closing out the Embrace this Friday. Errand of the Sable Knight starts debuting chapters on Webtoon next Thursday. And if you are supporting the Patreon, you should already have some access to Errand of the Sable Knight content that nobody else has yet. So thanks so much for coming out. You guys are great. Frog G, Skip, Genuine, keeping the chat alive. Thanks much. We'll catch you here in a bit.